Hey guys, what's up? Bargainman Hobo here. Well, we might as well change February to Fightin February because again, we're doing some fighting games. Which ones? Mortal Kombat Deception, Deadly Alliance, and Armageddon. Not necessarily in that order, really. Well, so these were the last games in the series before it was rebooted. And we're going to start where we should, with Deadly Alliance. Jeez, this box went through hell. Alright, so, you know what time it is? Yep, it is that time. It's time to Hobo up!
The story for Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance takes place after Mortal Kombat 4. Quan Chi has managed to escape the Netherrealm and has found a mystical amulet, as well as the army of the Dragon King. He realizes he'd be able to put souls into these bodies to help conquer the world, and so he teams up with Shang Tsung to help provide the souls. And as well, these guys take out Shao Kahn and Liu Kang, the only two who could stop them. And now, a group of heroes must band together, defeat the Deadly Alliance, and save all the realms. It's your basic stop the evil plot, but hey, it fits right in with Mortal Kombat universe. At the time, it was pretty mind-blowing, but now, it is what it is, I guess. So, Deadly Alliance has a good number of play modes, but you won't be able to access many of them until you create a profile. It's simple, you just name your profile, select an image, and then you're given a random series of buttons that you need to press to log in. Now, you're not given a way to be reminded of these. Well, you kinda are, but anyway. Well, I have a bit of a beef with the profile things, but we'll get to that later. Let's just get to the gameplay now. Gameplay for Deadly Alliance is a 3D fighter. I know what some of you are thinking, well, Mortal Kombat 4 is a 3D fighter too. Well, kinda. I mean, it had 3D graphics, but was still a 2D fighter, whereas Deadly Alliance is a full-on 3D fighter. Like any good fighting game, Deadly Alliance features an arcade mode. It's not much to talk about, you just fight your way to the top, beat the bad guys, win, see your character's ending, and you do get some minigames thrown in, but we'll get to those in a second. And I do have a bit of some beefs with these, but we'll address those later. Now, Conquest Mode is where the bulk of the gameplay will take place. You pick a character and are given 10 levels where you have to learn how to play as them. Yes, the point of Conquest Mode is to teach you how to play as the characters. You only have a couple characters to start with, but you gradually unlock more, and we'll get into how later. And then you just do what the game tells you to do, and win. This can be interesting, and again, we'll discuss this more as we need to. The last game mode is the Crypt. Here's where you'll buy extra characters, extra costumes, and more. However, keep in mind, there isn't just one type of coin. There are 6. There's Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, Gold, Platinum, and Onyx. And they're not interchangeable. If the sarcophagus has 6 Ruby coins, you need 6 Ruby coins. If only they were that cheap, though. The biggest problem here is that this crypt is huge. There's tons and tons, hundreds if not thousands of coffins. And they need a lot of coins, and heck, some of them are even empty. It is going to take you a really, really long time to get them all. So, yeah. There's one thing to keep in mind though. The Platinum and Onyx coins cannot be earned in the rest of the modes like the others can. No, they can only be earned in minigames. There's 2. Test Your Might and Test Your Sight, and these only pop up during arcade mode. Now, you can't change the frequency of these, how often they appear, but if you turn them off altogether, you cannot earn these types of coins. So, just get ready. So Test Your Might is just smash the button until the meter's in the right place, hit a button, break the thing. And Test Your Sight is you have to see the spinning cups, and one of them is one you need, but it gradually gets harder with more cups and the camera moves as you're spinning. It's interesting, alright, and these are how you get these coins. The better you do, the more you get. So, yeah. But if you fail one, you get bumped down to the previous one. So also keep that in mind. Let's talk controls for a second. So they're mostly fine, and the bindings can be altered as needed. The thing is though, the D-pad is required to move. You cannot use control stick at any point in the game. So if you were going to get this game, get the PS2 version, because the D-pad is so much better there. So the controls are fine regardless of that. Of course, being a fighting game, there are combos, and there are 3 different fighting styles for each character, and some of these combos allow you to branch between these styles. However, the timing for this is extremely finicky. You have to be dead on precise, and with the time limit in Conquest Mode, these can get really irritating sometimes. But still, it's annoying, but not unbeatable. It just takes a lot of practice. A lot of practice. But what's nice though is that you're saved between each level in Conquest Mode, so you don't have to do it all in one run. So, that's handy. Each character has different special attacks, you're throwing projectiles and whatnot, but bladed characters have an extra move where they can impale their enemies. If you tap the Z button by default, you can stick your sword into them and they'll gradually lose health and bleed out. This makes it easier to win, but they can still beat you, so be wary of that. Oh, Katana is different because she throws her fans to impale. This is interesting though, because if she misses, she doesn't have the fans until the next round. So it's a risk versus reward type thing. Other characters can do as many times as they want though. Impaling is handy, but Yeah, if you can actually nail your opponent with it. Remember, they can't block it or dodge it. Just be ready for that. Of course, it wouldn't be Mortal Kombat without fatalities, and yes, you've got them here. Each character has one. When you get the finish him prompt, you switch styles to the fatality style, input the command, and if you get it right, if you're close enough or far away enough, you do the fatality. And yeah, they're brutal for their time. Tame nowadays, but brutal for their time. Yeah. Sub-Zero, you might want to get that looked at. That doesn't look very healthy. The fatalities, though, they don't give you extra coins. They don't really reward you for them. They're just there if you want to do them for the, the brutality and whatnot. Yeah, they can be fun to do, figure out, and pull off. But I only pulled off one my entire capture session in this game. Think of that what you will. There is, however, one more complaint I'd like to address. The difficulty. You see, in arcade mode, each character has their own difficulty assigned to them, and some are pretty easy, but some are really difficult. Sure, some would do better with those difficult characters than others, but in my case, I was getting smacked around by certain characters, meant I had to switch to a character I was good at, work my way up to Quan Chi, and switch back to that other character. Annoying and inconvenient, but nothing that you can't handle eventually. Just practice or just do what I said. Pick a character you're good at and play as them. Despite the gripes I mentioned and the fact that the newer games overshadow the ones I'm talking about here, this can be a fun game with the right people, so we'll get to that later. Regarding presentation, the game is pretty good for its time. That animation at the beginning is very good. It's well voiced and well animated. You can tell they put a lot of money into it. And aside from that, the narrator, there's not a lot of voice acting except for the grunts and screams of the characters, but they do fine enough. And the graphics look nice, definitely time change, but these look good for their time. And the music is good too, so all in all, a pretty good looking and sounding game, again, for its time. Though that's not to say the game aged badly, it's just, just keep that in mind.
So that's Deadly Alliance on the GameCube. How is it? Let's look at it and see. How's the gameplay? Well, kind of right down the middle. It has some good, it has some bad. The Conquest mode is interesting and teaches you how to play as these fighters, but the time limits are annoying and the style branching combos can be really picky about the timing. This can be kind of annoying, but it's fine, I guess. The arcade mode is fine enough. The 6 different types of coins is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Look, this is not great, not terrible. I really wish you could use a stick because the GameCube D-pad just isn't that good. But, well, ultimately, this game's decent. I'm sorry, it just is. Alright, so, moving right along, now we're going on to Deception, also on the GameCube. Well, at least this time the box is in better condition.
The story for Deception takes place after Deadly Alliance. Logically so. Well, the heroes have failed to stop the Deadly Alliance, and only Raiden himself is left to stand against them. However, he is defeated, but the victory is short-lived when the Deadly Alliance turns in on itself, but also Naga is back. He's the original king of Outworld, and not only does he want his army back, he wants the thing that Quan Chi holds that gives him infinite power. And so, a new alliance is formed out of desperation. This is cool, but the bulk of the story is found in Conquest mode, which we'll get into later. Pretty good story, actually. As before, Deception has a lot of cool features, but you can't access many of them without the profiles. Still got an issue with these, but let's get there later. Gameplay for Deception is pretty similar to Deadly Alliance, but with some new things added to the pot and some improvements, so let's just go over those real quick. First and foremost, you can use the stick, so that's a huge plus already. The UI for the fighting has seen a few improvements too. For example, see those little lights under my health bar and my opponent's health bar? Those are indicators that help me learn how to best fight my opponent. For example, when my opponent is attacking, that turns red, and if I attack him while that's red, it will do more damage, and there's a few others you'll learn as you play. Also added are breakers. Normally, when an opponent starts attacking you, you cannot attack them, right? Well, with the breaker, you can break their combo and get out of that and get an advantage. You can only use 3 per fight, but they can be pretty handy if used correctly, so keep those in mind too. Arenas can now have transition or death traps. Transitions throw your opponent to a different part of the ring, which can damage them a bit, but death traps can end the fight altogether if you knock them into them. They're indicated with the yellow lines for transition and the red lines for the death traps in the arenas. Now you can turn these off if you want, but it can be pretty handy if used correctly. Also, fatalities have been upgraded. Each character now has 2, and then there's the Harakiris. The Harakiri is basically when you kill yourself so the enemy can't kill you after losing the fight. It doesn't change the outcome of the fight, but there can be cool and, of course, graphic. Of course, what you expect from Mortal Kombat. I wonder why these didn't come back. Now, there's still 6 different types of coins from the last game. However, you can get all of them during normal gameplay. You don't need to do anything special for the Onyx and Platinum coins like the last game. So that's nice. Alright, now let's go over the modes. So first, of course, there's the arcade mode. Like last time, fight your way at the top, beat the final boss, case in point Onaga, and win. But this time there's no test your might or sight games, so that's handy, at least there's no interruptions in the game. But each character still has their own difficulty, which I'm still not a fan of, but it is what it is. Newly added to the pot was chess combat. Here you pick characters of different classes and try to, well, play a game of chess, but with Mortal Kombat twist. You can cast spells, certain characters, and the ultimate goal is to kill the king. It's an interesting mode. I played a quick round of it, and it really wasn't for me, but I could see this being fun with the right people. Still, chess and Mortal Kombat is a mix I never thought I'd see, but we might never see it again. Another new mode is puzzle combat. You pick a puzzle fighter, and, well, you just play Tetris, while your little fighters fall down and fight under you. The goal is to push the other fighter to the other side of the screen to put them into fatality. Each character can have a special move, which can help you, but, again, it's just kind of there. I played a few rounds of it, but didn't get to quite to the top, but, well, I'd seen all that I needed to see. Still, it could be pretty fun with the right people. And last but not least, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this review, Conquest Mode. It has seen a major overhaul from Deadly Alliance. Now you play as a boy named Shujinko, and he has to go on a journey to save the realms. Given the quest by someone named Damashi, he must gather up the Kamidogu to save all the realms from a horrible evil. But, let's just say things aren't all that they seem. In any case, in this mode, you go on a journey, but you still learn to fight as the other fighters, and can unlock more things in the crypt, gather coins. This is a huge mode, and it's going to take you a while to beat. The world is constantly alive, things are constantly happening, and everyone keeps a schedule. See that clock up there? Yeah, it's constantly going. Well, Shujinko can speed up time to get deadlines you normally wouldn't meet. If something is not available at 10:30, well, you can speed up to when it would be available. So, that's also cool. Shujinko will journey through all the realms, help people, do missions, learn to fight as people, unlock stuff in the crypt, and also grow old. And also, when you complete this mode, you unlock Shujinko as a fighter. So that's cool. No spoilers, but this mode is huge. Huge, and can affect all the other modes in the game. Real quick, let's briefly touch on the crypt. So, it is a lot smaller than Deadly Alliance, and there are no empty coffins. And you can find chests and keys inside of Conquest to unlock things here, but there's still going to need a lot of time to unlock all the stuff here. But at least there's no empty coffins this time, so that's nice at least. Although, not quite everything is an improvement this time. So first off, in Conquest mode, the timing can still be very nitpicky on pressing the buttons, and there's still the time limit, which is still kind of annoying. And it's also huge and winding. It's going to take you a really long time to unlock everything. You'll probably have to use a guide. What's nice though is that when you do beat the game, you can just go back to areas you visited and find things you missed. So that's nice at least. And, well, the combat can be kind of cheap at times. I still don't like the difficulty selection. But, again, this is mostly an improvement. Still, a couple of sore spots left over. Presentation-wise, the game is pretty sound. The graphics look fine enough, so the arenas are varied. Some are bright and colorful, others are dark and dismal, and the different realms in Conquest mode are also varied again, anywhere bright and colorful to dismal, and they all look appropriate for the time of day, if that applies in the realm. The music is also good on the ears, and the voice acting is awesome as well. The voice actors breathe life into the characters, and they all bounce off each other. So overall, the game's presentation is pretty good.
So, that's Deception on the GameCube. How is it? So again, see. How has it improved since Deadly Alliance? Well, the control stick can now be used, which is good. And the crypt isn't huge, also good. And in Conquest mode, it's a lot more fun, but you can also actually find stuff like, more coins, and you can also find stuff to unlock, which is also good. And the gameplay has improved, there's more characters, more fatalities, and it is fun, but still kind of nitpicky on the time, and some of the same issues carry over. But again, the fatalities are kind of weird to pull off sometimes. But the Harakiri is also an awesome addition. You know what, guys? This one, Hobo approves this time. And so the last game today is this, Mortal Kombat Armageddon on the PS2. Now this was the last game before the reboot, unless you count Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, which, I do own that, so maybe we'll look at it sometime. But for now, let's get right into it.
The story for Armageddon is Leslie. With the constant combat of all the combatants, the fabric of the realm is being torn. The Elder Guards demand a safeguard, and so they create a pyramid with a monster on top. The combatant who destroys this monster will get godly powers, and, well, there is more to it than that, and it's further explained in Conquest mode. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about here, so let's waste no more time and get right into it. As before, Mortal Kombat Armageddon has a ton of modes that are... they're all like... Okay, I can't dance around this anymore. Let's tear into the meat of just why this profile thing is really annoying and gimmicky. So, each of these games forces you to create a profile to access most of the features, right? Well, that code is randomly generated each time a file is created. And so if you forget your code, well, you can be reminded how to do it. You can just go make another profile, and each profile has the exact same code. I really don't understand why you couldn't just put in your own code. And what's more, there's another mode in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, at least, that is affected by this, but we'll get that in a second. Still, they had 2 whole games to make it better, technically 3, because Mortal Kombat Deception on the PSP came out in the same year as Armageddon, and it still had that same issue. I might be the only one who hates it, but the profiles make no sense to me. Like, why create a code that just can be the same? At that point, I might as well just not make a code. Well, or, at least just let us make our own code. But whatever. Anyway, that's my beef with the profiles finally over. Let's just get into the gameplay now. So, Mortal Kombat Armageddon is a massively different beast from the other 2. For one thing, there are 60 characters. You heard right, 60. And technically there's more because you can create your own fighter. We'll get into that more in a sec. So, like before, let's just go over the modes again. Arcade mode. There's really not much you haven't seen here before. Pick your character, fight the other people, defeat the final boss, you see the ending, roll credits. But what's nice is that they got rid of that number difficulty thing from the other games. I guess it would have been really difficult for 60 characters to just arbitrarily assign difficulty to each character, but still, it's nice that it's not there. And speaking of improvements, there's only one type of coin this time, but we'll get there later. And let's talk about what else was added to the pot. Like Deception, Mortal Kombat Armageddon got its own new mode, and this one is just baffling, but in a good way. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Motor Combat. This is what happens when Mario Kart and Mortal Kombat have a psychotic baby. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is an honest-to-God Mortal Kombat kart racer. Like, seriously, this exists. The characters each have their own car, the tracks are well designed, each character also has their own power. My only real gripe is that the controls are kind of odd at first, but they can be altered, and really, what more do you need here? This is totally pointless, but I love it. It's bonkers, but I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers. I would pay full price for an actual Mortal Kombat kart racer. Hey, NetherRealm, get on that. Also in this game is a creative fighter. That's right, for the first and last time in Mortal Kombat history, you got to create your very own combatant. And you can design their outfit down to the accessories and the colors, their weapon, their throws, all their moves, their special moves, even their ending in arcade mode, but you don't have the narrator reading that, to be expected. There are a few gripes I have with this, but we'll get to those later. So, let's see if I can make me. What would I look like in this world? Yep, that's as close as we're gonna get to me in this world. I do have a few gripes with this, but we'll get to those later. For now, let's check out Conquest Mode, because good lord, we need to talk about that. Conquest Mode has once again been revamped. No longer are you learning how to fight as everybody. That's gone, and to be fair, like I said, there are 60 characters that would be hard. Now we play as newcomer Taven going on a quest to fulfill a mission he's been given, but let's just say things have gone crazy, and a lot of twists and turns in this tale. And you have sections where you actually stop and fight, and there's one-on-one fighting, and there's a lot of cool stuff here. So Taven will get in these giant group fights, as well as one-on-ones like I mentioned. In the group fights, you're limited to either your powers and fists or a weapon you're given. So the powers you get are Earthquake, Fireball, Teleport, and Time Stop. And you're given these throughout the game, and you have to use energy for them. But yeah, they're pretty fun to use. And then there's obelisks that'll give you little bonus games and give you coins. Oh, let's not forget that there's relics too. Throughout his adventure, Taven will find relics of fighters, and there's 60 in total. For every 10, he unlocks a bonus. Like, getting 10 gives you an exclusive character, getting 20 gives you 20,000 coins. There's a lot, and they're really well hidden, so don't be afraid to consult a guide. Oh, and also there's exclusive creative fighter parts found only in Conquest Mode. So yeah, you better find these. So, yeah, this mode is really awesome. I played through it 1,000 times as a kid, for more reasons than just that it's fun, and we'll get to that later. Fatalities have also been revamped. Yeah, I keep saying this, but there are 60 characters, so making a unique one for all of them would be really hard. Instead, we have the Creative Fatality. It's a series of buttons. You can do different things like rip off arms, rip off guts, rip off the head, and the bigger thing you do, the more coins you get. And coins are essential to get because there's a ton of stuff to buy, but we'll get more on that later. And huge fatalities give huge coin bonuses. Speaking of coins, let's real quick go over how to get a lot of coins real quick before we get into the gripes I have. Oh, though there are a few. A very good way to build up a lot of coins is this way. Pick Reiko in arcade mode, set it to easy mode or whatever mode you want. The higher difficulty, the more coins, but I go with easy mode for this. He has one special move that allows him to get a bunch of hits in at once. So just keep spamming that special move to get a bunch of coins because you get more coins with the higher combo. And after that, just do a big fatality to get a ton of coins. And a little tip here, you kind of want to avoid spending money in the crypt because in Conquest mode, if you get all 60 relics, you unlock the entire crypt. You want to save all your coins for the Creative Fighter, but this is where my gripes begin. The sheer amount of stuff locked behind unnecessary paywalls and creative fighter is kind of annoying. Thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of coins are going to be needed to unlock everything. So you unlock everything in one profile, create another one because you can only have one fighter per profile. You want to make another creative fighter, you have to do it all again. So that's kind of annoying. Conquest mode can also be kind of annoying at times with how easy it is to die and how cheap it can be, but you can replay as many times as you need to if you need to gather up stuff you missed or just want to play it again, and really, I wouldn't blame you for that. Yeah, so it can be kind of annoying at times, but it is what it is, I suppose. Regarding presentation, Armageddon is probably the best of the series. The voice acting is really good, the sound effects are awesome, the screaming, the crunching of bones, and the splatting, and the voice actors all bounce off each other. The music is awesome. Heck, I even used one of the songs from this game in the last Fightin February video. But yeah, this game looks and sounds great. It's a very high quality game. Oh, and that intro cutscene, good lord, we need to talk about that for a sec. The intro cutscene in this game is awesome. All three of them are cool, but Armageddon's is easily the best. It's all these people fighting, and it really does not look out of place. I would definitely pay for a movie based on this game. But yeah, this game looks and sounds great. If you had to pick one game out of the three, go for Armageddon. And now let's get to the rating.
And so, that's Mortal Kombat Armageddon. How is it? Let's look at it and see. As a gameplay, well, still a lot of improvements. There's way more characters. The create mentality is also fun. The motor combat has absolutely no point being there, but that's pretty fun. Conquest mode is a lot of fun this time, and there's only one type of coin, so this game does a lot right. I really enjoyed it. But those darn passcodes for the profiles across all three games, that made 0 sense. And look at how much money you had to spend to get all the things, for the creative fighter. Look how much that cost for every single profile. You know how long it would take to unlock everything for every profile? Well, aside from that, this game is a lot of fun. Definitely learn from the mistakes of the others. So this one's really close to beyond the bin, but those profile things knock it back. So, Hobo approves. So, those are the games for the month. Those Mortal Kombat games, well, with the newer editions, these are really hard to go back to. But they still can be fun, so if you're a diehard Mortal Kombat fan, or if you have some weird itch that only a 6th-gen fighting game can scratch, go for it. Otherwise, give it a pass, and seriously go for the PS2 version of Deadly Alliance, because the D-pad sucks on the game control. I'm sorry, it just does. But in any case, that's all for today. Come back next month when we start a new yearly tradition. Until then, this is the Bargain Hobo saying be brave, dare to play. I'll see you next time. Hobo, out!
Through dumb luck, Hobo defeated Blaze. At once he felt the immense powers of a god surge through him, only for nothing to happen. Not only did Hobo not gain any power from defeating his foe, but he's still a bigger noob than the actual noob of this franchise. He still lives in his mother's basement playing Girl Fight in Trextra Large, a fate worse than the wrath of Netherrealm. He is awarded no points, and may Khan have mercy on his soul. Fatally lame!
I know what has sufficed. I'm gonna hug my mom and cry. Why is he so